Hello, good afternoon. My name is Dorothy Leevy, doing this recording for the Write-Tukubuli Literary Festival. So I just hope that we can do something which will be enjoyed, appreciated by the people who listen. I have already published 3 collections of short stories. Look at Me, Father, See Me, Once Upon a Dominica Time, and Eden Restored. This afternoon, I'll be reading a story from Eden Restored. I know today there are so many land disputes, families who get into conflict because of land. So, this story centers on 2 families who had a conflict over land and how it was settled. The young woman closed the door of the living room softly and joined her husband on the front porch. Together they sat in the semi darkness, while in front of them, mango, pawpaw, and guava trees were enveloped in the soft glow of the moonlight. A gentle breeze stirred the trees, producing dancing shadows of various shapes on the ground beneath them. Calmed by the scene, she asked her husband, "How long do you think he will last?" She sighed and continued, "I just wish we knew earlier. Maybe surgery would have helped." "Eveline," her husband said as he held her hands, "you know he never wanted any surgery. He thinks he's a burden on us. What I wish for is peace of mind for him. He gets so agitated each time he tries to tell us of family land that was stolen." "But Damien, I used to hear stories like that too. Anyway, I wish those who steal will get their punishment." A fit of raucous coughing from inside the house reached their ears, and they both went indoors and into the room of the 92-year-old man they called Grand P. He appeared to be asleep, but he sensed their presence and opened his eyes as they approached the bed. In a barely audible voice, he asked, "The children?" "Fine and sound asleep," they assured him. "Joshua's surgery," he whispered. "Don't worry, Grandpa, it will happen," Damien answered. Eveline moistened a washcloth with some Bayram, and with it she wiped his forehead gently. "Bless you both. God bless you both. I'm so lucky," he rasped out. It was 11 p.m. The couple was about to retire for the night when they heard the sound with which they had become all too familiar over the past 2 years. In a matter of seconds, the initiator of the sound appeared, their 6-year-old son propelling his wheelchair towards the bathroom. "Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad," he called out in his usual confident and happy tone, in spite of the fact that he had been asleep before. They knew how proud he was of being able to maneuver the chair by himself. On his way out of the bathroom, he teased, "Can I stay up to watch TV?" His father patted his shoulder and pushed the chair gently in the direction of the bedroom. "Don't wake up your sister." The following morning, 9-year-old Bernadette helped her brother dress for school, and when they came to the dining table, she put the dish with mango and ripe banana slices closer to him as they both enjoyed the sliced fruit over their oats. They knew their mother was helping Grandpa and their father was taking care of the animals. Just then, their father walked in. "Look who is up. Good morning," he greeted them. "Said your prayers?" "Yes, Daddy," Bernadette answered. "We prayed for Grandpa," Joshua added, "and we prayed for God to give us back our land so we can sell some and get money to give me new legs. Then I'll be able to play cricket with James and Ryan." Their mother emerged from the room where she had bathed and fed Grampy. What was that? She asked. Bernadette supplied the information. You see the place high on the hill where they are building the new hotel? Grampy said it's really our land. And the part where they keep the horses too, Joshua added. Giddy up, see me ride my horse with my new legs. And he heaved himself up and down on his wheelchair, causing his parents to smile at his enthusiasm and energy, in spite of their heaviness of heart each time they thought of the surgery he required and the prosthetic legs, the cost of which seemed unaffordable. Grampy is sick, so sometimes he forgets things. You mustn't believe everything he tells you, their father said to them. Both parents were amazed that the children were able not only to understand Grampy, but to hold a sustained conversation with him, as his throat cancer often rendered him speechless or made the croaky words which he uttered difficult to understand. Isaac Josephs, or Gramp, as the household called him, felt better than he had in months. After Evelyn left the room, he prayed silently, asking for peace of mind. He thought he had buried the pain and humiliation he and his brother had suffered years ago. With his declining health, however, and what he faced up to his approaching end, memories of past events kept resurfacing in waves of pain, threatening to engulf him. Were it not for his caring grandnephew and his wife and their two beautiful children, he would not have found the strength to cope with his physical as well as with the emotional pain. How could they have done it to us? How could they have treated us so shamefully? He mumbled. Scenes were being churned up, causing great distress as they flooded his mind. His father, his own father, crying to him, a 20-year-old boy, confessing that he did not know how or when it happened, but that their house and land were no longer theirs. He had gambled and lost everything to his cousin. Forgive me, son, forgive me, his father had sobbed. Even after 72 years, the memory was still so vivid that it drew tears. He had moved in with a friend and continued working at the Treasury. His older brother at the time was on a 2-year scholarship in Trinidad at the Agriculture Institute. His father had another cousin who had taken him in, but there was a downward spiral in his health. 5 years later, he died a broken-hearted man. I will not think of revenge, Grampy thought. And in any case, what can I do? A helpless old man about to depart this world. To lessen the pain, he thought of his happy childhood, the freedom he enjoyed climbing trees, picking mangoes, catching birds, joining his older brother and their friends to raid other mango trees just for the fun of it, as their property contained almost every variety of mango grown on the island. His mother's illness, followed by her death shortly after, was the beginning of the end for their father. That gave the cousins the opportunity to play their hand. Sympathetic villagers did warn his brother and himself not to put too much trust in the sudden kindness which their hitherto distant cousins were now demonstrating towards their father. His brother at the time was preparing to leave for Trinidad. He himself still felt the loss of his mother and was hardly home, preferring to remain with friends in Roseau on many weekends. In their naivety, they were even grateful that their dad was being invited to so frequently to the home of his cousins in the adjoining village. Brought up in a loving family atmosphere, it was almost beyond them to imagine what their cousins were plotting. How could they? How could they? He questioned as he dozed off.